Welcome to Awakening the Spiritual Mind. My name is Elizabeth Cario, and in today's episode we will explore something essential and often misunderstood: the ego, your energy, and the quiet art of inner alchemy. I'd like to start with a passage from chapter 10 on ego, energy, and inner alchemy. What we just heard reframes transformation as an inner rearrangement, not a fight. So let's slow down and unpack it in everyday language. The ego is not a monster. It is simply the part of you that organizes your life, the one who wants to be respected, safe, and in control. You need that part. It keeps you functional. But when it is scared or left in charge for too long, it takes over. It starts running the show through tension, pride, or anxiety. You know that feeling when someone criticizes you and instantly your body tightens. That's not evil. It's the ego trying to protect you. The turning point is this. You don't need to destroy the ego. You need to befriend it. When you say, I notice anger is present instead or I am angry, you create a small gap. And in that gap lives your freedom. You step out of automatic reaction. That's what I call the inner witness, the part of you that can observe without judgment. The witness doesn't fight what happens, it simply sees it. And the moment you can see clearly, the story begins to change. So inner alchemy is really about presence. It's not mystical chemistry. It's learning to stay aware long enough for a new response to appear. You move from reacting to responding, from tension to choice, from habit to consciousness. That small shift, again and again, is what slowly rewires your inner life. Let's continue with another short passage.
Energy dynamics, triggers, loops, and self-protection. Every reaction you experience is not just a psychological event. It is a movement of energy. Some of these responses energize you, align you, and bring you into greater presence. Others drain your system, destabilize your emotions, and pull you into survival mode. Imagine your consciousness as a battery. Each emotional trigger acts like a short circuit. Each unresolved emotion becomes a subtle leak in your energetic field. Over time, these leaks accumulate. You may begin the day feeling resourced, but by midday, your attention is scattered, your patience is gone, and your nervous system is overstimulated. Not because something is wrong with you, but because your inner energy has been spent reacting rather than creating. When the ego is constantly defending, posturing, or avoiding, when it feels the need to protect itself from imagined or symbolic threats, it consumes vast amounts of mental and physiological energy. You remain in a state of subtle activation, on edge, slightly braced, always scanning. Eventually, this hyper-alert state becomes your baseline, so familiar that you forget what calm feels like. Common signs of this overactive ego energy loop include chronic mental fatigue, even after rest, emotional volatility or overreaction to minor stimuli, heightened sensitivity to noise, conflict, or unpredictability, a deep resistance to stillness, silence, or being alone with yourself. In these moments, the nervous system is not broken. It is simply trying to protect you. But if your body constantly believes it is under threat, you never fully return to safety, and your true potential remains trapped behind old patterns of survival. This is where the field of energy psychology offers powerful tools for transformation. Rather than working only with thoughts or behaviors, energy-based methods help regulate the flow and discharge of emotional and somatic tension. 3 notable approaches include Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, sometimes called tapping, which combines gentle stimulation of acupuncture points with verbal affirmations. Studies suggest that EFT may reduce cortisol levels and anxiety by calming the body's stress response. Somatic experiencing, developed by Dr. Peter Levine, which helps individuals release trauma stored in the body by tracking physical sensations and completing self-protective responses that were interrupted in the past. Breathwork, a broad term that includes conscious breathing practices designed to regulate the autonomic nervous system and restore balance between activation and relaxation. What all these methods share is a recognition that healing is not just cognitive, it is energetic. You cannot think your way out of a dysregulated state, but you can begin to notice how energy moves through your system and gradually rewire your response patterns through embodied presence. The first step is simply this: notice where your energy goes. Notice what drains it, what restores it, and how your ego might be using energy to protect an identity that no longer serves your deeper self. The inner operating system. Imagine your psyche as a complex operating system. On the surface, there is a user interface, what you show to the world, how you speak, how you behave. That interface is largely managed by your ego. It helps you navigate daily life, organizing your roles, managing your relationships, handling your responsibilities. But beneath that interface lies the source code, a hidden matrix of unconscious beliefs, emotional memories, and psychological imprints. This code is what truly determines how your system functions. You may update the surface, learn new communication techniques, develop confidence strategies, acquire better habits. But if the underlying programming is still running on fear, shame, scarcity, or unworthiness, the system will keep glitching. You will repeat patterns not because you want to, but because they are hardwired into the deeper logic of your emotional software. Inner alchemy, in this sense, is the art of debugging from within. It is not about erasing the ego or discarding your personality. It is about making the ego transparent so that it no longer hides the deeper truth of who you are.
So think of your energy as currency. Every emotional reaction spends some of it. When the ego feels threatened, when you defend, explain, or overgive, you burn through your inner budget. That's why you can feel exhausted after a short conversation or a single email. Not because you work too much, but because your energy leaked through reactivity. Energy follows attention. So if your attention stays locked on protecting an image, your energy cannot flow toward creation. That's why stillness feels so powerful. It's the moment your energy comes home. Let's make this practical. Notice what truly drains you. Maybe constant comparison, unresolved conflict, or trying to please everyone. Then notice what restores you. Music, nature, silence, deep breathing, an honest talk. Each time you redirect energy from protection to presence, you reclaim vitality. That's inner alchemy in motion, not fighting the darkness, but turning it into light. Let's pause now for a short practice. If you can, close your eyes. Take one hand to your chest, one to your belly. Breathe slowly. Now, recall a small moment from today when you felt tension, maybe defensiveness, frustration, or fear. Notice what happens in your body. Where does it tighten? Whisper quietly inside, I see you. Thank you for trying to protect me. Then ask, what truth might be underneath this reaction. No analysis, just brave and noticing. That awareness is already transformation. In your awakening journal and notebook, write for a few minutes. Where did I notice my ego taking the lead today? What was it trying to protect? What would it feel like to respond with presence instead of defense? In the next episode, we will explore how this awareness connects to energy itself, how the body and the mind speak one language of transformation. And remember, you don't need to fix yourself, you just need to see clearly, breathe deeply, and begin again. Thank you for listening to Awakening the Spiritual Mind.